Ohio State head football coach Urban Meyer is on paid administrative leave tonight after allegations that he knew about domestic violence accusations against a now fired assistant coach. Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Marshall.
I'm Mike Jackson. We are covering every angle for you tonight. We have team coverage. Dan Perlman is live with fan reaction.
But we are going to begin with Jared Smalley, who has the statements from Meyer and the university, and a look at how we got here.
Now, Urban Meyer, for the moment, does not serve as the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's a stunning development. Meyer quoted in a statement today released by the university, quote, "Gene," as in Gene Smith, the athletic director, "and I agree that being on leave during this inquiry will facilitate its completion. This allows the team to conduct training camp with minimal distraction." Continues on to say, "I eagerly look forward to the resolution of this matter." This move comes today after reports by college football reporter Brett McMurphy and WatchStadium.com citing details of text messages between Zach Smith's ex-wife Courtney and Urban Meyer's wife Shelly, along with other spouses of OSU staff members. The texts suggest Urban likely knew about the allegations of spousal abuse against Zach Smith from 2015. But last week, Meyer firmly denied he knew anything about it.
2015 reported incident. Are you saying that you don't know anything about that, or do you believe that that didn't happen?
I can't say it didn't happen because I wasn't there. I was never told about anything. Anything came to light. I never had a conversation about it, so I know nothing about that.
And Meyer is simply one of the giants of college football. He's won 85% of his games as a college head coach, 177 victories, 73 of them at Ohio State over the past 6 years, a remarkable run with the Buckeyes, 3 career national titles, including the Ohio State title in 2014, 11-3 in bowl games. Simply, he's done it all. But now the question remains, is he done at Ohio State? It is an eerie flashback to what Buckeye fans, of course, watched play out 7 years ago. Jim Tressel was dismissed at OSU following the tattoo and memorabilia scandal. Colleen, of course, we watched that unfold.
Right. All right, Jared. And Courtney Smith's detailed allegations are now public because of an interview with an online sports site known as WatchStadium.com. She claims she was physically abused, and she claims many people knew it. Courtney Smith claims she reached out first to her family.
I remember specifically texting pictures to my mom, my dad, his dad, like begging for help, like, this has to stop. This isn't normal. I can't do this anymore.
But she says her own family warned her against reporting the violence.
And I was told, don't call the police. If you call the police, he's going to get arrested. It's going to go to the media. He's going to lose his job. What are you and the kids going to do?
Smith claims there were repeated and ongoing incidents of domestic abuse. And Urban Meyer acknowledged he knew about one such claim back in 2009 when he and Zach Smith were coaching in Florida. Meyer says he and wife Shelly counseled the Smiths at that time. Courtney Smith claims the violence continued after the move to Ohio State, but it was not until a 2015 report was filed with police in Powell that she shared her claims with the wives of other coaches, including Shelly Meyer.
In 2015, I came forward with it. I told Shelly, I sent her some pictures. I spoke to her on the phone. Shelly she said she was going to have to tell Urban. She was going to have to tell Urban.
Did she ever come back to you and tell you that she did tell Urban?
She did not. She did not. She would reach out to me, ask me how I'm doing, tell me she was worried, that if I needed anything, she was there.
That 2015 incident made headlines last week when Courtney Smith sought a protective order against her now former husband, and Urban Meyer fired him.
Instead of worrying about winning games, or instead of worrying about who his mentor is and who his family is and trying to protect that, somebody's safety and the safety of their children and that the environment that they're in needs to be more important.
We've made it easy for you to see the entire interview with Courtney Smith. You can watch at WatchStadium.com, interview in full by clicking the link on our story at NBC4i.com.
Now, this decision came quickly, and it caught a lot of OSU fans by surprise. Tonight, we caught up with some of them. NBC4's Dan Perlman live with how Buckeye Nation is reacting tonight. Dan?
Well, certainly tonight this is something drawing a reaction around the country, but right here in town, I can tell you this news is something no one saw coming.
It just really caught us off guard, I guess.
From the area near campus
I'm very shocked.
and beyond, the talk of this town is about the man today making headlines off the field.
And I didn't know what to think about it, to be honest.
Madeline Platfoot and Douglas Connor.
Yeah, I'm a huge Buckeye fan.
Love the team on the field.
I am a huge Ohio State fan.
But they also love the university, and they support this step, placing Coach Meyer on leave.
I think they're trying to take precautions to protect their university and what they stand for, but I also think that they need to take every step to make sure that they find out what's true and what's not true.
An issue like this kind of goes beyond sports. It's not just about football. It's about doing what's right for everyone involved, students, the staff, just holding everybody to a higher standard.
So now, the fans, all of us, are left waiting to hear what's next for a man synonymous with Ohio State.
Urban's OSU, you know, and so it's a lot to take in.
A man whose future tonight remains unclear. And tonight I did reach out to the university requesting an on-camera comment. However, I was denied. I also called a number listed for Courtney Smiths. I was told she had no comment by a woman who answered over there. I also reached out to Zach Smith's attorney. However, I have not heard back. Local for you in Columbus, Dan Perlman, NBC4.
Thanks, Dan. Now, some former Buckeyes are weighing in tonight with their reactions to Coach Meyer being placed on administrative leave. Zach Bourne saying on Twitter, this is a Zach and Courtney issue, no one else's. Everyone is trying to bring down the Meyer family and the rest of the Ohio State staff and program based off of incidents that involved two people at their home. This issue will get settled in court between those two, end of story. Jake Stoneburner saying, this is going to get real interesting. I saw a coach get fired for way less. Will be very interesting to see what OSU does with Urban Meyer. Stoneburner apparently referring to Jim Trustle's firing, in 2011. DeAndre Wilson says the Ohio State University will be just fine. The court will handle what needs to be handled, and we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program, playing for my university.
Urban Meyer is on administrative leave. Now, that's a temporary leave from a job assignment, usually reserved for employees of institutions like hospitals, schools, and universities. An employee can be put on administrative leave for things like bereavement, military leave, or internal reviews and investigations. Urban Meyer will continue to get pay and benefits while the university investigates. NBC4 also looked into the terms of Meyer's contract. He is required to report to the university if any coach under his supervision has violated or is suspected of violating any state, local, or federal laws. You can read an analysis of the terms of that contract at NBC4i.com. Ohio State opens training camp Friday afternoon on campus, and a new man will serve in the head coaching role, at least for now.
Jared returns now to shed more light on the new interim coach.
Well, you'll recall when Jim Tressel was fired before that 2011 season, Luke Fickell served as the interim head coach. Fickell's now the head coach at Cincinnati. We'll see whether Ryan Day's work as the interim coach will last a few days or the entire season. You'll recall Day earned a promotion this past offseason to co-offensive coordinator after the Bucs' offensive improvement, specifically in the passing game. He's entering his second year as the Buckeyes quarterbacks coach. He was highly coveted after last year, entertaining offers from the NFL and other major college programs before deciding to stay put. Day has never worked as a head coach, but the Bucs already employ several former head coaches on the staff. Fellow offensive coordinator Kevin Wilson worked as the head coach at Indiana. Defensive coordinator Greg Schiano was a successful head coach at Rutgers, also coached the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a year. Coach Bill Conley joins us now in studio. Coach obviously worked at Ohio State for many years on the staff. You're very familiar with what it's like to coach in difficult circumstances. You were there when Earl Bruce was fired, for example, in 1987. So Ryan Day is coming into a unique situation here. He's never been a head coach. How do you think he handles this?
Well, the first thing he's got to do in his first meeting with the players, he's got to say, fellas, we're going to talk about the situation now, and we won't talk about it until there's something important to say. We've got to focus on this season, on August camp. Very difficult job for a guy that's never been a head coach, but he's got some guys that have been, and You know, he is a very important part of the success of this team because he's got the quarterback position, but now he's also have a leadership role as a head coach.
Any other thing, Bill, you mentioned the other coaches on staff with Greg Schiano there, with Kevin Wilson there. How can that help?
Well, first of all, advisory way, and then also the fact that a lot of the planning is already made. Practice schedules for August camp, they've been made up weeks in advance. But here's something to think about, Jared. As this news broke, one of the first things that happened, other colleges calling Ohio State committed recruits.
Yeah.
So the coaches also have to keep those guys in the basket.
So there's a potentially long-lasting effect there, certainly. Coach Conley, thanks for joining us in studio here. Much more coming up in sports. Mike, back to you.